Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining today. Today's topic is going to be study planner with Notion. We're so excited to have you here. And if you're just joining, feel free to type into the chat where you're from, how long have you been using Notion, and feel free to introduce yourself. We'd love to hear all about your journey with Notion. And about today's event itinerary. So first we'll go over an introduction. And then we'll talk about why Notion for your studies, top tips for students when using Notion, and then we'll be building together a student planner Notion template. And after that, we'll have a Q&A session where you can ask all your questions. And then finally, we'll share how you can download the free template that we built today in the session. So first, let's start with an introduction. So first, if you're new here, who we are, we specialize in designing Notion templates that help you optimize your workflow, organize data, and increase productivity. And be sure to check out our website and template store. We have lots of freebies, free resources for beginners to get started with Notion. And we'll be leaving the link to it in the chat. And my name is Sarah, and Anne will be managing the chat today. We're both passionate Notion creators, so we're so excited to be able to share all of this with you all. So a few notes about the event. Add your comments and questions into the chat. Please keep the conversation respectful and about the event. And just a friendly reminder, this chat is for discussing about this event and Notion-related topics. Messages not relating to these will be monitored and removed if needed. And if you have any questions, just because there's a slight delay in the live stream, we'll be answering most of the questions at the very end, but just keep all the questions into the chat and we'll definitely get to them towards the end. So first, let's talk about why Notion for your studies. Feel free to type into the chat, have you ever used Notion for your studies? If yes, how is your experience with it? So the first reason why you should use Notion for your studies is that it's free for individual students and educators. So the free plan is more than enough for your studies. You get unlimited blocks and pages for you to build your study hub. Everything can be stored in one place, notes, class schedules, assignments, and more. And it's so easy to collaborate and share among your team. And yeah, up to 10 people. So if you have group projects and things like that, it's really also useful. And even if you're just a lifelong learner, it can be such a useful place to store all your information and share it with others. So here are some of the pricing plans. So as you can see, the free plan is pretty much everything you need for personal use. The plus plan can be nice because you get a little bit more features, such as the automation, but just for personal use, free plan works really well. So basically, using Notion to study can be an all-in-one study hub. So you can add your calendar, your notes, to-do lists, classes and courses, grades, resources, even flashcards and contact books, so that you have everything stored in one place. In the past, if you didn't have these kind of digital resources, it would have been a huge binder what Notion can do for you. So here are some top tips for students when using Notion. So we highly recommend you to leverage the powerful note-taking features. So Notion really excels as a note-taking app. So you can categorize your notes by subjects, classes, and you can create note templates for quick use. So if you have a specific format that you like to use with your notes, that can be done with Notion as well. And then you can also insert media, links, and resources in notes. So that's also a really useful feature. So basically, you can add anything you want that's available in Notion properties. So it's very customizable. The next thing is that you can streamline your study process, keep courses, assignments, and exams in one place. You can have your exams and assignments and grades and see them all and kind of keep a record of it. So sometimes maybe some professors might make a mistake, or you just want to have a log that you can reference. It can just be such a good place to keep everything in there. Then you can also have your notes, flashcards, and resources, course schedule, tasks related to the course. So as you can see, this is like a sample of what your course could look like. So you would have your start and end date. You could put your course code. You could even put the classroom you're supposed to be in, the course schedule, the school, and then you'd have your to-do list, flashcard decks, and so on. It's also easy to use Notion for teamwork if you're working on a group project, because now Notion also has Notion Calendar. So if you want to share your calendar, it's very useful because you can also see Google Calendar together with it. So it's easy to share and collaborate in real time. You can comment and have an easy discussion. Scheduling and task assignments are very simple as well. And you can connect Notion Calendar for the whole team. So here are some tools that Notion connects with. So you can do Google Drive, Google Calendar, Slack, Dropbox, OneDrive. And basically you can embed so many things. So you just have to add them to the page. And as long as it's a link, you can pretty much embed anything. And the other thing is that with this new Notion Calendar update and release, it's been even better to use Notion to keep track of your schedule. So any calendar you have inside of Notion can be seen on Notion Calendar, and Notion Calendar links with Google Calendar. So basically you can see both all of your Notion Calendar items with your Google Calendar all at the same time. So we highly recommend checking out this video that we made about Notion Calendar, and we'll also put that into the chat as well. And yeah, we highly recommend using Notion Calendar along with your study planner if you're using Notion for studying. So in this next section, we're actually going to be building a study planner from scratch. And if you already have Notion open, you're more than welcome to follow along. And if we go too fast, this session will be recorded, so you'll be able to sort of slow things down and pause and build it slowly later. But let's first take a look at what we're going to be building today. And even if you don't want to use Notion for studying, this can just be a very useful practice just to kind of see how databases work together. So in this study planner, we're going to be having 3 main databases: courses, notes, and a study calendar. And if we just examine the databases, we'll just take a look at courses first. So here you can see all of your current courses. And if we open it up, you can see that it's your current course. You have your date, start and end, and you can add any kind of optional notes here. So in this case, you could just put something like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then under here, you can add your course information. You can have your notes relating to that course, whether or not you need to review it, whether it's reviewed and view all. And then finally, you can see your study calendar based off of your course, so that you have basically all the information you need for your course inside this one page. And if you're done with the course, you can archive it, and then it's going to end up here. Then you can view all. The next database we're going to be adding is the notes database. So here you can see all your notes, and you can review them, and they go into reviewed, and then you can view all. And of course, it's tagged by course, so you can basically see them inside of your course as well. Then we have our study calendar. So if you have like a study group or even just some kind of session coming up, you can mark them inside of your study calendar. And this can be also opened in Notion Calendar, so that kind of integration is really useful as well. And then finally, we've combined all of these databases on one page into this handy dashboard. So you have your courses on your left side, your notes that you need to review, and then your study calendar here. And if you just need to quickly look at your course, you can just open it up and see everything in here as well. So this is kind of the framework for what we'll be building today. So let's get started with an empty page. So first, if we have this empty page, what we recommend you to do is to go to the top right-hand corner, three dots, and turn on small text and full width. And we always do this, almost always, for our templates or any kind of page, just because otherwise we are limited in space. So this way you have way more space to work with. And the first thing we're going to be doing is to build the databases. So we like to always check the databases first so that we can see exactly what's going to be inside of this template. So we're going to be typing / callout, and we're going to be storing the databases inside of here. And let's go ahead and change this icon, and we're going to choose something relating to a database like this, and we're going to type databases. So we think that it's just really nice to be able to keep databases sort of separate and in its own box so that you make sure not to delete it, and also you know exactly what your template kind of is built off of. So here in the databases, we're first going to create our course database. So let's go ahead and type /page and click enter, and we can get started with our course database. So the course database, we're going to be adding it inside of a list view. So we're going to type courses, and let's go ahead and click the three dots here and click list view, and then plus new list. And then we can also go ahead and add an icon by clicking add icon, and we can choose some kind of book like this for courses. And the first thing we're going to be adding is any course you might have currently. So we're going to rename this by clicking here, and we'll name this current. And then what we're going to do is just add some sample courses. So let's say this is course 1. This is course 2. And this one is course 3. So by sort of adding sample items, you can get a better idea of what kinds of information you need inside of each of your database items. So if we open up now course 1, we can start to sort of map out what we'd like to add here. So the created time we don't really need, so we're going to be deleting this property. And tags can be useful so that you can keep track of whether or not it's a current thing or not. So if it's a current course, you'd want to tag it as current. So let's go ahead and add current. And the other option would be archive. And let's turn on the red color for archive. So this one is going to be current. And for this, we would edit the property to be a select property, because otherwise you can add two options at the same time. And in this case, that would not be the case. So course 1 is current. Then the next thing we're going to do is plus add a property. And this is going to be the date. So we're going to put date. And let's go ahead and add a start and end date. So we're going to toggle on end date. And this one, let's say it started in January sometime, and it's going to go until May. So this would be the dates. And then we'd recommend you to add some kind of additional notes. So here you can put a text property, and we can call this notes. So this can be anything, whether it's the classroom number or whether it's just the frequency that you're taking it at. So here we can put Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And for now, this is basically okay. If you want to add more properties, you can also add them here. So these are all the things you could potentially add inside of your course, and they do give some really nice suggestions. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go out, and let's just go ahead and now show some of these informations that we'd like to see in the list view. So if we go to here, the three dots, we can go to properties and choose to show the date and potentially the notes if you'd like to see that as well. And tags we're not going to show because it's going to be the current tab here. So we're now going to also filter it. So let's also add some information to course 2. So if this was current, let's also put similar date here so that we can show it correctly. So here could be May, let's say like this. And we can do the same for course 3. So it's current. And we can put something like this, end date, and we will end it on around here as well. So now if we click out, you can see that the date is here and the notes are here and the course. And one more thing we would recommend you to do is just to click the 3 dots here, layout, and now you can also toggle off show page icon. So it looks a bit cleaner this way. And let's also filter it by the tags so that it's only showing the current. Save for everyone. So now you have a list of courses that are showing by current. And let's go ahead and duplicate this tab by clicking duplicate. And this one we're going to call archive. So once you're done with the course, you can move it to archive. And here we're going to turn the filter to archive instead of current. Save for everyone. And then finally, we're going to duplicate this again. And this one's going to be view all. And here we're going to turn off the filter. So now save for everyone. So basically filter, and you can turn it off and it should show everything. And just so it's not confusing, let's also show the tag. So now we see that it's current right now. So let's say that if we move this to archive, it's gonna show up here. So if we move it back, it's gonna show back in current. So we've basically set up our courses database. So let's go ahead and work on the next database. So if we go back to Let's Build, we can now move our courses underneath databases, and let's go ahead and click the plus sign under it to add the next database. So the next one's going to be called Notes. So we're gonna type /page and we'll type notes. And inside notes, we're going to have a table view database. So we're going to click table plus new table. And now we can start working on it. So let's also go ahead and add an icon here. So this one, let's go ahead and add something like this for taking notes. And the first tab we're going to be creating is notes that need to be reviewed. So need review. And here we can rename this reviewed ? And edit property. Actually, we need to add the property here first. So we're going to actually put a checkbox here. And this one's going to be called reviewed. Oh, this one has to be name. So Notion makes it so that you have to have a name property inside the database. So it's important to remember that. So we're going to name this one reviewed and move it over. So then we're going to next put a created time property. So if we go to the plus sign here and we type created time, Notion basically can tag all of your entries in order that you create them. So when you create it, it's going to tag it with the created time, which is really useful so you know exactly when that note was created. And then let's go ahead and add some sample notes. So let's say that this was note 1, note 2, and note 3. And one more thing we're going to now add is to connect it to the course. So if we click the plus sign here, we can look for relation. And this is going to relate this notes database to your courses database so that you can see all of your notes relating to that course. So we're going to click the relation and we're going to make sure to click the correct database, which is called the courses. And let's go ahead and show it on courses, add a relation. So we can already tag it, for example, with course 1. So let's say that all of these just belong to course 1, that you took these notes. And if you have any tags, you can, for example, put study notes like this, or anything that comes up that you want to tag it with, you can do that. And then we're going to start adding some sorting to this. So just so that we can see the most recent note at the top, we're going to go to sort and sort the created time by descending, save for everyone. So this way we see the new note at the top. So if we just do an example, we click new here, it's gonna show up at the top. So this way you can always see what notes you took last. And then what we're going to do is to now filter it so that it's only showing the unchecked checkboxes here. So we're going to click filter and reviewed. We're going to click unchecked, save for everyone. So this is only going to show the needs for review. Then we're going to duplicate this one so that we can create another one, which is going to be reviewed. So all the notes that you've reviewed is going to end up here. And to do that, we're going to filter this so that it's showing the checked, save for everyone. And then finally, we're going to duplicate this again, and this is going to be a view all. And it should show everything. So we're going to remove the filter. So it's going to clear everything, save it. So let's say that we reviewed note 1. It's going to go into reviewed like this. So this is a really handy way to have your notes. So now we're basically ready to move on to the next database that we're adding today, which is the study calendar. So this is the most simple of the databases. So we're going to click plus here, / page again. And here we're going to type study calendar. And this one is going to be in calendar view. So plus calendar. And inside of your study calendar, what you might want to add is just some properties that would make sense for a study calendar. So those could be your tags, your notes, and courses. So if we just add a sample item inside of your study calendar, we can start doing that. So if there was a study session, you might want to add your tags. So for example, if this is a study group type activity, and then you might want to add a text property. So this one could be your notes. So meeting in the library, for example, and then plus add a property. And final thing we're going to add is the relation, which is going to relate it to your courses. So everything just relates to your courses, that you have everything there. So we're going to click courses, show on courses, add relation. And we can drag it down. And let's say this is also part of course 1. So now we basically have this study session. And as you can see, nothing shows up here. So we have to go to the 3 dots and turn on the properties. So it would be good to see the tag. It would be good to see the course and possibly the notes too, so that you can see exactly what you need in here. So once you have that, then we basically have our study calendar set up as well. So let's go ahead and also add a icon here for a calendar. So we go calendar. And then if we go back, now we have 3 databases. So the thing we're going to do next is just to set things up and create this dashboard. So let's just rename this now, study planner dashboard. And we're going to type enter and /column. So we're going to go with the 2-column design. So we're going to move this now. We can drag it around as long as you click that 6 dots and drag it to the left. So if we move it over, now we have some space over here and under here to add some of our database views. So let's first add the study calendar. So we're going to type /heading 3, and we'll have a study calendar here /divider. And what we're going to be adding is a linked view database. And what linked view database means is that basically it's going to show exact copy of what you see inside of the real database. And anything you change here is also going to be reflected here. So it's just kind of a synced thing that you can see on both sides. So we're going to type /linked view of the database. And we're going to select the correct database, which is the study calendar. And we're going to choose the study calendar view. So now we basically see what we created in our study calendar. So we can hide database title. And let's just double check here that it's the correct calendar. So we're just going to edit this one to be called event. So since we have so many called study calendar, we're just going to redo this one. So we're going to type /linked view, and we're going to select the correct one and calendar view. So now we see the one that we created here. So it's very important to name your database as something that you can find later. So we're going to hide database title. So now we have that study session here, and you can also open it up in your Notion calendar. And underneath here, what we're going to be adding is going to be our notes and our courses. So on the top, let's go ahead and add the courses. So we're going to type /heading 3, and we'll call this courses /divider. And just so that we don't make the same mistake, we're just going to name these event. And this one event. So now if we type /linked view of database, we're going to be able to add our courses event database as a database view, and we can see all of our current courses, and then we can hide the database title. So by doing this, we can basically see, if we zoom out a little bit, the date, and we can see the notes here. So this can be a useful way to see your courses. And then if we click the plus sign here, we can also add more views. So courses event, then we can do archive, and we can hide the database title here. Then we can click plus again, courses event, and then we can click the view all and hide database title again. So now we have our courses set up. So underneath courses, we're going to be adding the notes. So /heading 3. So this is going to be our notes /divider and /linked view of database. And we're going to select the notes event database and hide database title. And this one already shows up the reviewed. So let's go ahead and add the other ones. So we're going to have the needs review, hide database title, move it over, and again we will click notes event and view all and hide database title. So now we see basically our notes that we need, and you can see all the information. One quick tip is just to freeze the column. So if you freeze up the column, you can basically see everything like this. So now we have our courses, our notes, and our study calendar. So the next thing we can do is now just to create a quick database template to show everything inside of your course. So we're going to first hide this here. So we're going to go to show as minimal. Then we're also going to sort of hide the study calendar by show as minimal, so that we see only these 3 items under the course. And inside here, we're going to want a database template. So if we go to this blue box here, you can add a plus new template. And this one's going to be called new course. So every time you add a new course, this is going to be automatically loaded. And you can basically type inside here whatever format that you'd like for each of your courses. So the first thing that's useful is to have some course information. So we're going to type /heading 3 and put course information /divider, and then you can do a dash and create a bullet point, and then Control or Command D to duplicate these. Once you have that, you can do /heading again, and this time we can add our notes database. So we're going to do notes /divider. So now inside here, you can do /linked view of database, just like we did with the dashboard. And we are going to add the notes database. And let's go ahead with the needs review view. And we're going to hide database title. So if you see here now, you can see basically all the notes you have. But what we want is something that's going to filter it with this new course. So we're going to filter and add filter the course by new course. So now we don't see anything, but later it's going to make more sense. Then we're going to click the plus sign here. We're going to basically do the same thing. So here we're going to do reviewed, and we're going to hide database title. Make sure to filter it correctly by the course, and new course save for everyone. Then finally, one more we're going to do notes event. Then we're going to hide database title. Oh, we're going to delete this one. Gonna add notes event, view all, and hide database title. And then we're going to filter it again. So add filter, courses, new course, save for everyone. So now we basically have our notes. And the last database we're going to add here is our study calendar. So slash heading 3, study calendar, and slash divider, and then here slash link to view of database. And we're going to add study calendar, event, calendar view. And let's go ahead and hide the database title. And again, we see everything. So we only want to see it relating to this course. So what we're going to do is filter it by the course, new course, save for everyone. So now our database template is basically set up. So it's going to basically filter all of your databases based on this new course that you add. So if we go back, we can show what that means. So if we open up course 1 now, we can basically choose this database template. And you can see your course information, your notes relating to course 1, and your study calendar relating to this. And if you want this to always be the default for your courses, you can set it as default through here for all views in courses. So let's go to course 2 and we can see how this would work in a use case. So you would be going to your course 2, and let's say that we added some notes about course 2, and it already tags with created time and course 2. Let's say that you have a study session coming up for course 2 on Saturday, study session. And already it's tagged by course 2, and we can click out. So now you can see that this one is tagged with course 2, this one is tagged with course 1, and basically you see that course 2 also appears here. So as you can see, this is basically how we would recommend you to set up a study planner sort of dashboard. So then let's go ahead and go back. So if this was too fast for you, just remember that we have this recorded, so you can always go back and slow things down. And if you have any questions, of course, you're more than welcome to ask them. So let's go back. And we just wanted to share some of our features in our study planner Notion template that might be interesting for you all. And if you want more features, we do have a 40% discount code with May 40 during checkout right now. And we'll leave the links to our student planner Notion templates in the chat. So we have so many of them. So there's kind of something for everyone. And if we go here to our student planner, we can start looking here. So this is kind of a sample of our student planner Notion templates, and it's a little bit more complex than what we built today, but it kind of builds upon the same sort of principles and ideas. So basically you have your current courses here. You can see your assignments by this week, today, tomorrow, and not done, as well as exams. So you can see exactly what's coming up. You can see all of your notes by whether or not you need to review them, if you've reviewed them, tags, and by course. You can see your planner with your schedule and assignments like this. And what's interesting here is that we also made a section so that you can track your grades, so that you can see exactly the percentage based on your score and points. And we also have things like flashcard decks. So if we open this one up, you can see these flashcards. So if you have a question, you can show the answer like this and review them. So just as an example, we'll be showing you also what a course looks like. So if we go here, this would be what one course looks like. You would see your exams, assignments, and schedules here. You could see your notes here. There would be a to-do list, flashcard, resources and documents. So if you have a textbook or a syllabus, it can be really handy to keep these stored. Then there's your grades, and then it's going to calculate your average across the whole course. And then also important contacts so that you know exactly who to contact. Let's say if you missed a class and so on. So then you can also see for example, the teacher's room and the office hours. So yeah, if you're interested in this, be sure to check it out. And then let's go to the next part. So the next part is our Q&A session. So if you have any questions about how to sort of keep a study planner in Notion, feel free to ask and we can answer all of them. So we have already here, is it possible to link Google Drive, Google Doc, and Google Excel with Notion? And yes, you can link all of these. So basically, if you want to do some kind of embed, it's very easy with Notion. You can just simply go, for example, here. So let's say that you want to put some embed inside here. So you can type anything inside of this notes. So it's /embed, and you can embed Google Drive, anything you see here. And also you can simply just click embed and try out whether or not it works. So if you just put a link in here, most likely it's going to embed it. Let's go to the next question. So the next one we had, how to add projects in a course. So if you wanted to add projects inside of a course, we could recommend you to potentially create a new project database that links to the course, or if you just want to be simple, you can really just add sort of headings and information about each project. So if you don't have too many of them, this might just be a simpler method. So if you just open up a course, you could just have a section for projects. So projects/divider, and then you can just type about your project here, embed anything you need. And it's a little bit less organized than, let's say, building another database. But if you feel uncomfortable with adding relations, this could be a really good alternative. Let's see the next question. Is it possible to calculate grades somewhere in a course? So as you saw in our student planner with more features, you can calculate your grades by adding a table. But this requires adding again another database, which could be a little bit tricky for some people. So if we check our student planner here, you'll notice that if we go to our courses, we can click it open and you'll see that we have the grades stored here. So you can basically enter your grades throughout the course, but this is kind of using a relational database. So you do need to build a grades database that is going to connect to your course. So this is a little bit tricky. So if you really just want to stay simple, you could just put a simple table and calculate it. But if you want to go a little bit fancier, you might want to consider adding a database for that. So is there any other questions that anyone has about this, about creating student planners or anything relating to Notion? Great, so let's go to the next section. So now we wanted to show you how you can download this free template that we built today in this session. So the link to that we're going to leave into the chat, and it's going to be available for a limited time, so make sure to grab it. And if you're interested in our other student planners, you can find it in our store. Remember, we have the 40% discount code with May40 during checkout, so be sure to check those out. And we just wanted to remind you all that we offer one-to-one coaching sessions. Each session includes a short free consultation, so just feel free to come and chat with us. If you have any questions or comments after this event is over, contact us at organizednotebook.info@gmail.com. We love talking with you all and to chat about Notion. So if you have any kind of question relating to student planners or Notion, we'd love to hear from you. So to conclude, thank you so much for attending today's workshop. We hope that this was useful for you all. We'll have more workshops coming up in the end of May, so we hope to see you there.